Hello there everyone, this is Laura from Flagstaff Yoga Festival, and I am so thrilled to be joined today by my good friend and colleague Radha Crawley. Radha and I first met a couple of years ago, and she started doing a lot with us up at Flagstaff Yoga Festival. She's now the spa director for both Flagstaff Yoga Festival and South Bay Yoga Conference, which is holding its first event this coming year. And I'm just really excited to have Radha present the class, the Practical Ayurveda class that you've signed up for and are listening to today. It's a real treat to have her with us. Radha is a certified Ayurvedic educator and body worker and has been teaching holistic health for over 11 years. She was actually hired, and this was the bit that got me really excited about working with Radha. She's been hired to train the entire spa staff at one of the world's top-rated destination spas, which is Miyamo. That's just a really amazing spa at the Enchantment Resort in Sedona, Arizona. As you can see here, they've actually won several awards, including Travel and Leisure's World's Best, resort and spa awards. So Radha's actually trained their entire spa staff in Ayurvedic bodywork and practices. And so she's just an amazing person to be able to talk to today about Practical Ayurveda. She's also been featured in the International Spa Association's industry magazine, which is called Pulse, and she's been featured in there as a next generation spa leader. And like a lot of Americans, Radha's actually been troubled in the past by a lot of chronic health conditions, and we'll talk about those a little later on in the call. The chronic health conditions that she's personally healed from include severe allergies and mood swings, severe fatigue, and addiction to junk foods. And now, through the processes that she's going to begin teaching us today in this Practical Ayurveda class, she enjoys peak mental health, radiant skin, solid sleep, and a well-rested body. She also has excellent digestive health, which was sort of a long time coming as well, like for many of us. And she's one of the most relaxed people I know. She's totally just a joy to be around. Just being around Radha just completely just puts my body in a different state. And I don't know why that is, but it just is. So, I can personally attest that, all of these health issues that have plagued so many of us in the past, she has personally healed and helped a lot of other people, resolve their own health issues as well. So she's accomplished all of this through the integrative and natural approaches of Practical Ayurveda that she's going to be teaching about today on this call. So thank you so much for joining us, Radha. I'm really excited to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura. It's a pleasure to be able to share my gift with so many people at the same time. I'm super excited that we have so many people interested in this, what is cutting edge actually in the West form of healing, has been around for thousands and thousands of years in the East. So I'm super excited to be here and share what my gifts with you. Before we begin, I just want to invite everyone who's listening just to be open to shifting your perspectives on your current health consciousness and your thoughts around what wellness and holistic health are. I also would like for you to go ahead and take a nice deep breath and get really comfy in your seat. Go ahead and close your eyes. I'm going to share with you a mantra that was given to me by my teacher, Vijay Mishra. And this mantra is from ancient texts, and I have it here in front of me written in Sanskrit, and I'm going to chant it for you. It's a heart lotus mantra, and it's basically to help open up the heart center, all the petals of the heart lotus, to allow everything that we talk about today to go into the heart center and be heard with truth and no judgment and with an open mind. So go ahead and get comfy. Rita Pundarika Majyastam Prata Surya Samaprabham Pashan Kushadaram Samyam Vadabhayastakam Trinitram Raktavachanam Bhaktakam Abhudam Vaje So for some of you, that could be the first time you've heard a chant like this given in Sanskrit. For some of you, it could be some more common in your life. And I'm just curious, how was that for you? How did it feel? It's okay if you felt nothing. It's okay if you were just thrown into bliss and anything in between.
Well, for me, it really pulled me into my body, which is a good thing. It felt, so often for me, I kind of chatter around in my head, and I don't realize until I sort of settle how I'm really not present in my body. So that really helped just sort of quiet everything in my mind down, which I'm sure is a good thing if you're about to learn if you're about to learn something about how to take care of your body. I'm sure quieting your mind down is a good thing, but it wasn't just quieting my mind. Like, my body feels a little different.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I can describe quite how, but it feels more rested. It feels more relaxed. I don't know.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the beautiful power of Sanskrit. It's such a vibrational language. It's the language that Ayurveda is written in. And so even if you don't understand, like you said, it's hard to describe, even if you don't understand exactly what is going on, there's something vibrationally shifting in you.
For sure.
Even just hearing the Sanskrit words. So, just to remember that as you're going through, Ayurveda is, written in Sanskrit. And so a lot of it, could be overwhelming for people. And so today we're going to just really bring it into a conversational, practical approach that people can grasp and in a real way. So it's exciting.
Yeah, awesome.
So I was just like you, the listeners, 15 years ago, eating what was easy to prepare, what was around, what tasted good, what was cheapest at the grocery store. I didn't really take much time to investigate what this food was going to do to my long-term health, or even what was happening to me right then in the moment when I was eating it. And a lot of my consciousness just was so external that I never took the time to feel like what these, now I would call them dead foods. What are these dead foods actually doing to my body? How does my stomach feel after I eat it? What does my mind feel like? Do I feel like sleeping for an hour afterwards? So this is where I was at. And it really wasn't until I became pregnant with my oldest daughter, my first daughter, who I just really realized how important health was. I needed to take charge of a healthy pregnancy, a healthy labor, a healthy birth of my child. I wanted to make sure my baby's health was going to be really vibrant. I really consider her, a blessing in my life at that time when I was, 21 years old and just goofing around and eating junk food and staying up all night. And, something may have shifted me out of that at some point, but Jasmine pretty much, got me on a slingshot.
Yeah,
and
she
really
propelled you into it. Yeah,
she really wanted a more vibrant life, and I'm sure, how many of you would like to achieve higher states of wellness and vibrancy?
Exactly, all of us.
Exactly. So really today, I'm here to share with you, and I'm going to teach you how to soar from just okay levels of wellness to being able to take control of your body, mind, and spirit's experience of true, authentic vibrance. Doesn't that sound delicious?
Awesome. Very cool.
Yes, and I really want to encourage you to grab a pen and paper and have it handy, because I'm sure there's going to be things you're going to want to write down and want to remember. So you just take a moment to do that if you need to.
Awesome. Very cool.
And as you're getting ready, let's just go ahead and start with an outline of what we're going to learn today in this full Intro to Ayurveda class. So what I've done is I've just divided the class into 3 different sections, and so there's step-by-step techniques that you're going to want to implement when we come to the second section. But first I want to really give you an understanding of the background of why these steps are so important. So in this first section, we're going to talk about the truth of holistic health and really how a deeper understanding of Ayurveda creates true health and higher level wellness.
So we'll learn some about like the history of Ayurveda in this section, but also sort of how it applies today. Like it's a really ancient science, and I'm sure you've got a ton of background to share about that, but it's also just so relevant today. And I know you have just some amazing stories even about, sort of Hollywood folks using Ayurveda and why they're really considering this really ancient science very cutting edge for their health. So it'll be really cool just to get kind of a deeper context of Ayurveda from you in this first section. I'm excited about that.
Absolutely, and we're really going to talk about it in terms too of holistic health. So there's a lot of holistic health modalities out there right now, and people might be asking themselves, or in their minds, why is Ayurveda different? Why can't I just stick with the holistic health regimen that I have already? And there's so many people out there and so many products that are saying, this is going to make you do this, and this is the new superfood, and this is bad for you, and this is good for you. And that's what I love about Ayurveda, is that you can look at everything in all the products, all the food, pretty much everything in your life through an Ayurvedic lens, and to understand more about yourself. And so it really applies to everything. So you can even look at other fad diets through an Ayurvedic lens, and you can say, how does this work for me? Because not one diet is good for every person. Yeah, so and then the second section is extremely important, because this is where we're going to talk about all the step-by-step practical Ayurvedic techniques that you can start using today to make changes in your life. So we'll talk about what you're currently doing to support your life holistically and what could actually be hurting you. These things that we're taught in the natural foods industry, natural life industry that are good for us, actually through an Ayurvedic lens could be harming you. And this has been a gift that was given to me by my teacher Vaidya Mishra, whose lineage goes back 5,000 years or more in Ayurveda. And so this has been handed down for so many generations from father to son. All of these techniques and the Shakya Vansya Ayurvedic techniques that really help bring in that awareness of these things that can actually be hurting us, that we think may be good for us. So I want to give thanks for that information that I get to pass on to you. And then the third and final section is honestly where this information gets really fun and cool. We're going to teach you the most effective ways to attain these vibrant states of mental health, of radiant skin, lowest stress, and peak energy.
Awesome. So we're not just talking about feeling healthy inside, which of course all of us know, or, intuitively we know that feeling healthy on the inside is really the most important, but many of us, including myself, are somewhat concerned about how I appear on the outside too. So I've got to admit the radiant skin part here gets me pretty jazzed.
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't want to look radiant?
Right.
Absolutely. So the thing is, when whatever you put on the inside of you is reflecting on the outside of you. So the skin is such an indicator of health, of what's going on the inside of the body. Right at the end of the third section, we're going to give you a very special invitation. So make sure to stick with us all the way to the end, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed, and you're just going to be shining and bright after this conversation we have here.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it all. Sounds like a great hour.
Yes, absolutely. Me too. You know, really, before we get into the good juice here, I want to share with you a story of my own life, because if I would have known what I know now back, you know, when I first started my family 12, 13 years ago, my life would be really different. So when my oldest daughter was 1, my husband and I decided we wanted our own land and house, right? So it's like the sort of back to the land dream that we had. We fell in love with this parcel of land next door to where we were renting. So the process took a lot longer, as we all know. Excuse me, land transactions can sometimes. And so within the whole year that it took, we became pregnant with our second daughter, which of course was a little surprise. And so here we are on this land, and actually the house that was on the land wasn't really inhabitable. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but we had this whole picture of being able to, tear this house down and recycle the materials and build a house, right? Okay, now we're pregnant. Like, what are we going to do? So what we ended up doing was purchasing a cabin, which you see in the picture there, that was Amish built. And so there's a lot of Amish around where we were living. And so we, went out to their land and bought this cabin and had it delivered. It was crazy the day it came up this mile-long driveway on a back of a tractor. It wasn't even a semi or anything. It was like a tractor delivered this house.
My gosh.
Aaron spent, this was Wisconsin in the late fall. I would say it was probably around September and October.
So it was getting cold?
It's getting cold, and he's spending this time finishing drywalling, putting in electricity. We had a well on the property, but he ended up digging a trench from the well all the way across the property to the cabin.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It was crazy. We were totally crazy. And, it wasn't until like 2 days into the digging the trench that we figured out that you could actually rent I don't know what exactly it's called, but it's essentially something that digs a trench for you.
Yeah, like a little bobcat thing or something, right?
That's an outdoor shower.
Did you have an indoor shower?
We did not.
But there's a bathtub picture next to it. That's indoors.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the bathtub that we had. And if you can kind of picture, so there's like a walkout little porch off the front. Well, above the porch was a little alcove, and in the alcove was this bathtub.
Okay.
And it was actually a really cozy spot to take a bath, but getting up there and being pregnant climbing up there was quite interesting. I had a little ladder on the side of the fridge, and I had to climb up the ladder, hoist myself on the fridge into this little alcove to take a bath, right?
Whoa.
And bring my 1-year-old up there when she needed a bath, which was nerve-wracking to say the least.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So,
did everyone survive unscathed?
Yeah, I think Jasmine had one little bump, but mostly everyone was fine. We had a really cozy, little 500 square foot cabin that we lived in, and Mira was born in. She was born in the cabin in a water birth, right there, February 2nd, right before this big blizzard, and so we ended up living there for about 2 more years before we figured out that it was sort of a big duh that we couldn't build a house and raise tiny children and work and do all of these things at the same time.
Not by yourself.
I'm almost mad at my parents sometimes when I go, why didn't you like slap some sense into me?
Oh.
How come nobody told me that all of that stuff was going to be so hard? Like, we had this beautiful vision in our minds of what we wanted to accomplish. And of course you can, under circumstances like break through those barriers and achieve those things. But sometimes you just need a little guidance, and you just need somebody to say, maybe it would be easier or a little bit better to do it this way, because they have experience. Yeah, so sure. I just really want to thank you, the listeners, everyone, for being here today to really seek guidance with your health, because you obviously already know that having guidance in your life is important, and that's such a beautiful gift.
Well, I can't think of anyone better to have on the call with us today than you, and just with all of your experience to just be willing to give us the lessons that you're going to give today. It's about the best guidance that I could ever think of having for my health personally. So thank you, too.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to get started either. So let's jump into giving you some guidance today, listeners, with your health. We're going to go ahead and take a look at how a deeper understanding of Ayurveda creates true health and higher level wellness. So we're going to get some background here on how Ayurveda works and what it is and where it came from.
Okay, so let's look at how practical Ayurveda is different from all those other holistic health systems out there. So here we have a little checklist for you. And so cool. To really give you a good idea of the sort of opposition and of the other and Ayurveda. So, cool. Yeah, so we'll start with like, okay, let's say the Atkins diet or South Beach diet or the paleo diet.
The paleo diet, yay!
I don't know. This is a new one for me. Like, I've never heard of this no grains. That was a new thing for me. So that's sort of becoming a new fad. Yeah. And raw foods diet. And there's all these diets that, you hear people saying, oh, this is the best thing ever, and look at my skin, and look at this, and look at that. And so, Ayurveda has this long-term approach to sustainable nutrition specifically catered to your body. So we're looking at, through Ayurveda, we're looking at the food that we're eating in terms of, is it alive? Is it full of life force energy? Is it fresh? Is it, are the qualities of the food balancing for your specific body type? No two people have the same list of foods that are balancing for them. So Ayurveda really looks at that long term. So, and yes, of course, we're going to eat foods that are balancing, and every once in a while we're going to eat, the holidays are coming up, and so we're going to eat some foods that are not so balancing.
Yay! No,
hopefully not too much of them, but but with Ayurveda, you kind of know how to bring yourself back. What to do in order to bring yourself back to that point. You're not always looking outside of yourself, like with these fad diets, like, please someone else tell me what's good for me. That's not what Ayurveda is. Ayurveda is you knowing with your light and your heart what is good long-term for you. And that's such a gift in this world where everything is being told to us. This is good for us, and that's not good for us. So this is really exciting for me.
Very cool.
But, realizing that glow, that radiance, that vibrance really only comes when you maintain this patient persistence, this I am committed to my health. It's like the tortoise and the hare, right? So the tortoise is like, I'm going to get to the finish line, and she's just plodding along one step in front of the other, very confident, very solid, where the hare is like, bursting forward and running ahead and then napping under the tree and then bursting ahead again and then napping under the tree. And what happens in the end is the hare loses. There's no consistency, there's no persistence there. So the tortoise actually, even though, we all know that the hare is actually faster than the tortoise wins because of her stability. And that's really what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
And this goes with our next point, is there's this body consciousness. I have two little girls, so I'm really hyper aware of this body consciousness image that we have, especially in America here, where women are supposed to be this specific hourglass shape, and everyone is supposed to be tall and skinny and look this certain way. And I found great relief in finding Ayurveda to understand that not everyone's body looks the same. Oh, there's that's the way nature intended that to be.
Right.
That, people have there are a specific people constitution that have more roundness, and there's specific constitution that there's longer arms and legs, and there's a specific constitution that has, great height or very short. And what a relief for me, who kind of struggled with weight my entire childhood and through high school, to realize that, when I'm in balance, weight will naturally come off me. And also I know what I need to do to keep myself in balance. It's a really fun little equation that we kind of came up with through Ayurveda.
It's really sweet. And I mean, just observing the world and observing, really healthy, radiant people in my life through an Ayurvedic lens.
You just kind of tap into what your body is like. And instead of trying to, what it says here, beat your body or trick it or, before I discovered Ayurveda, really looking outside of myself for not only for food, I mean, whatever was available, that's an outward perspective, right? And also, what's good for me? I need someone to tell me, I need this association or that foundation or this scientist or that person to tell me what's good for me and what's not good for me. Where Ayurveda brings, when you have this balance in your body and all of the channels of your body or the meridians or the lines of energy that move through the body are open and flowing, you can hear. It's really obvious what's good for you. You tap into that heart lotus being open with the mantra that I gave you at the beginning of the call here. You tap into that open heart center, and all of us have had a time in our lives where we just knew what was good for us.
Yes.
It was so blatantly obvious. And that's what Ayurveda is all about, giving you, is that inward focus so that you know what's good for you. You don't need to ask. It's nice to have guidance along the way, of course. We hear all the time about these new diets that are out, or it's funny because I actually haven't read this article yet, but there's a pretty prominent health foundation that's out there that has quite a following. I would almost say a cult following of people that, and not cult in a derogatory way, but just they're very devoted to this foundation's way of healing. And they just put a post out that said something to the effect of why we were wrong about ghee. And for those of you who don't know ghee is one of the most infamous foods of Ayurveda. It's a clarified butter that is balancing for all body types, basically, in specific amounts.
You almost said all 3 doshas. But we'll get there. We'll totally get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But basically, they put this study out that said we were wrong this entire time about ghee, and ghee is actually amazing for you. And I had to just laugh because it's okay, for over 5,000 years, Ayurveda has been, telling people that ghee is amazing and that it's good for you. And then, this foundation just now is oh yeah, they're right.
Really, truly, it's just that quick fix diets give you short-term gains.
here's a metaphor that's a lot like what we're talking about that you probably already understand. And, talking about having these quick fix diets giving you short-term gains is a lot like talking about Wall Street. Oh, there's a buzzword. So really, one of the reasons our country's finances are in such a mess, I mean, there's so many reasons, right? We could talk all day about this, is really what it boils down to is that these investors and brokers, these corporations, our government, everyone was so concerned with these short-term gains. They wanted instant profits. They had no concern for the future, no regard for sustainable growth or the long-term health of the economy. They were just ready for what was going to give them a buck so that they could go to Aruba next weekend with their girlfriend. I mean, they really weren't looking at the future.
Right, exactly.
And
it was all about
really,
quarterly earnings statements, and I mean, even the whole housing mortgage crisis that we got into. It was, how can we get these people who really can't afford this huge house right now into this huge house?
Right.
We're going to give them this really messy, unsustainable loan.
Right, and unrealistic. And it's like they wanted their big fancy house right now, and that's so they were just willing to sign even if it sounded too good to be true, right? It's like that. I have a headache or I don't feel well, so I'm going to pop a pill kind of culture. And instead of really looking at that big picture and the long-term vision and holistic vision to build upon each day, to get the sustainable growth, they were all about like, just give me the quick fix. I just want to know what I can do right now to, hair myself forward, if you must, really like, how can I run as fast as I possibly can to the next tree to take a nap, and just take a nap under this tree, and we'll see when I wake up, I can start running super fast again, It's basically that sort of mentality that got us into trouble.
Yeah, and we all know how that's ended for all of us. So
yeah, I was going to say, has anybody let their short-term health interests inadvertently sabotage their actual long-term health goals?
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's a lot like, so what should we have been doing with our environment, with our finances, with our stock market? What should we have all been doing instead of that, crazy short-term gain stuff,
Absolutely. If you can understand, the need for a sustainable economic vision, for you personally and globally, I'm sure you can understand your need for a more sustainable vision for your health.
Exactly. And it's the same thing. We're talking about exactly the same thing. So let's talk a little bit about how, that sustainable vision of health, what kind of results people can actually see from, implementing something like practical Ayurveda in their lives.
Absolutely. So you can see on this slide, one of my favorite photos is this woman in the green jacket doing Hanumanasana. In what would that be, like a handstand Hanumanasana?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like crazy at the top of this mountaintop. In perfect bliss, I'm sure she's feeling at this moment. And so really, by bringing this sustainable vision for your health into your life, you're going to be able to do things like handstand splits at the top of a mountain, if you so choose. You're going to feel wonderful to rise with the sun in the morning, to wake well rested, to sleep soundly. I meet so many clients who have trouble sleeping or who, wake several times a night. Ayurveda is going to help you sleep more soundly. It's going to help your digestion. You're not going to feel that, gas or bloated or diarrhea or gas pains or, any of these things, bloating, things that can happen with the digestive system. All of that will go away, and you'll just feel like, rising to meet each challenge with such clarity and vision for your highest being.
Sweet. Yeah. And that's going to solve everything. It's going to solve the radiant skin. When when you're in that kind of state in your life, everything comes. It's like Patabi Joyce used to say, "Practice and all is coming." But this is the vision
Absolutely.
of where we all want to be, and what Ayurveda really invites us into. So let's look a little bit about technically what a system like Practical Ayurveda will include. I mean, there are basically three things that we really need to work on within our health regimen to get us to this state, and it looks like Practical Ayurveda takes care of all of them. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
And so basically what we're going to look at here is the safe detox, right? So we live in quite a toxic world. I'm sure most or all of us already know, the water that we drink, some of the foods that, unless you're eating organic foods, the foods can be contaminated with pesticides and herbicides, and the air that we breathe isn't clean. And so basically there's this need for detoxification. We've all seen the cleanses. Maybe we've done the cleanses. Really, Ayurveda is going to help you look at what is safe detox. How can you get rid of those toxins out of the body in a safe way so that you're not actually hurting yourself in the process, right? So,
well, let's talk a little bit about, I mean, just even the word safe paired with detox, it kind of says to me right here so what we're saying is, like, there's a lot of detoxes out there that could be harming you more than they're helping.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, so samshodana is the word that we're looking at here, and sam in Sanskrit is balanced, and shodana is the detox. So we have this balanced detox. So basically, there's a safe way of getting toxins out of the body. So they got into the body whatever way they got in. There's a lot of different cleanses out there that, say, drink this lemon watery thing and that's all you need, and you're going to totally, detox yourself in 6 days or whatever. And a lot of detox on that level can actually drive toxins deeper into the tissues, creating a dangerous environment later for possible autoimmune disease, for greater skin rashes, for foggy brain, for lack of mental clarity. Many different things can happen from improper detoxification. And I've been so blessed to be given this really safe, gentle way of detoxing the body from my Ayurvedic lineage that I study with, that is all about really taking care of those things in a gentle way.
Sweet. Awesome. So in the gentle way, basically your body can handle the toxins that you're getting out and actually get them out and done.
Absolutely. You have to have the channels open in order to get the toxins out of the body when they're being loosened from the tissues. So this is a really nice way of helping those channels get open in the body so that you can loosen and eliminate the toxins from the tissues.
Got it. So what are some of the ways that you guys look at doing, I mean, what all is involved in samshodana? I mean, is it just stuff you eat, or is there more to it than that?
It's going to be different for each person. Again, it's very personal, but the general premise is definitely focused on a specific diet. So we're definitely going to alkalinize the body. We're going to help open up the channels. And again, with samshodana, the thing that we're going to think about too is that this isn't a 10-day cleanse. This isn't something that you do, right after the holidays when you've just gorged for, the entire month of December. This is something that's long-term. It's something that can be done over a longer period of time to actually allow the body to alkalinize to a level where the toxins aren't going to react with acid in the body. Oh. So we're gonna alkalinize the body with diet, and then we're going to bring in some body therapies, and we're going to bring in some ghee and some different things to help loosen up these fat-soluble toxins that get lodged into the different tissues.
Oh, interesting. So you just said fat soluble, and that was like something I'd never thought of for toxins. I mean,
Yeah,
I think about it for, I've been taught to think about it for vitamins and minerals. You know, are they water soluble? Are they fat soluble? But that makes so much sense that toxins would be maybe water soluble, maybe fat soluble,
absolutely,
and you have to deal with all of
absolutely.
them.
Yeah, so that's why
Ah,
we have to be very specific with our detoxification so that we can get both kinds of toxins out of the body.
okay, cool. So, and on this next bullet that you've got here on, you know, why we actually need practical Ayurveda's approach, you know, scientifically to doing this. So we've got the detox part of our health taken care of with samshodana. And then the second bullet point we've got here is safe dosha balancing. And I've got to say, if there's one word that I think, you know, people might already have in their vocabulary if they've looked into Ayurveda at all, it's probably the word dosha, because that comes up a lot. And this is where Ayurveda really starts talking about our different body types and constitutions, right? I mean, is that
Absolutely.
how would you define dosha, and what would you say safe dosha balancing incorporates?
So the word dosha is again Sanskrit, and it basically refers to your specific constitution. So it's referring to, you know, you'll probably often hear it as what's your dosha. So everyone wants to know what's my dosha. So basically the dosha is your specific makeup of these 5 elements. And each person out of we have 7 billion people on the planet now, there's no 2 people with the same exact dosha makeup. So there are no 2
Wow.
people with the same exact makeup of elements of air, ether, fire, water, and earth in their body. So this safe dosha balancing is basically where we look at your body. We say, what is your body made up of? And then we say, okay, what was your body, your perfect balance point? That was at your conception, right? And
Mm.
then we look at where you're at today, and we want to bring you back to that perfect balance point of your specific dosha. And so there's a very safe, gentle way of doing this given to me through my lineage that really just addresses your body balance in a way that's not going to throw you all over the place. You're not going to have detox reactions. You're not going to have, we address every level of the mind, of the emotional attachment to specific foods and ways of living. We really look at the whole picture when we're
Mm.
balancing each specific person's dosha.
Cool. So we've got detox and we've got balancing, but really tailored custom balancing for the individual. And then the third pillar we've got here we're talking not only about feeling as young as possible, but, you know, looking like you're young and vibrant and glowing to the extent that you are. You know, I mean, rejuvenation. I mean, how would you define rejuvenation here?
So rejuvenation, we often can be, I mean, if I think back to my health 15 years ago, I needed a lot of rejuvenation in my health. So rejuvenation is basically bringing back your state of health and balance and maintaining that. And so whereas detox is taking something away and
Mm.
balancing is doing a little of both. So you think about adding and subtracting. Rejuvenating is adding. So
Mm.
we're adding to the body things that bring bliss. We're adding things to the lifestyle that help bring in vibrance. We're adding this way of being that brings you to your optimum level of wellness.
Wow. Very cool. I mean, it looks like a lot, I guess, to kind of look at your system holistically in this way. It looks like a lot of work initially, but I mean, it's really not, and we'll go into how. But if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, Rada was talking to me the other day about when I was saying something like, "Wow, this is a lot. This is a lot of information, and this is a lot to think about." And you just knocked me on on my butt. I mean, what did you say the other day? It was like, oh my God, I need to do this.
Yeah, I mean, we all have a reason that we're here on the planet. We may not know why, and you may never need to know specifically in English or whatever, language you choose why you're here, but you do. You have a soul's purpose. You have to use a Sanskrit word, you have a dharma. You have a reason that you're here on the planet, and you owe it to your dharma to start experiencing optimal health and vibrance. You owe it to your soul's purpose to be here as fully as you possibly can imagine so that you can fulfill the reason that you came here. One of my teachers in Ayurvedic school, Pat Layton, hello if you're listening, Pat. She is such a beautiful teacher, and she gave me us a story, basically, when she brought this point up in my schooling as to why we owe it to our Dharma. Why do we owe it to anything to be vibrant and in our optimal health? Well, if we think about the food that we eat, if we think about the resources that we consume in order to maintain our life, so if you look back and if you think of, I guess the easiest way is to look at all the foods. If you eat meat, your how many chickens, how many fish, how many cows have you eaten in your entire life, right? So let's just say we owe it to each one of those souls beings to live in our fullest potential. They basically sacrifice their lives for us to be here on the planet. And so we can at least pay them the respect to say, you didn't give up your life in vain. You gave up your life for me. Look at the amazing things I'm doing in my life. Look at the amazing people I'm touching. Look at the difference I'm making in my life. And thank you for that gift of your soul for me. And so that point, I mean, I'm almost tearing up just talking about it now.
I'm tearing up. That's why I'm quiet.
Oh, she's quiet. No. I mean, that point for me hits so, I mean, if for no other reason, all of these other beings that have given their lives for you, and even if we're talking about carrots, I mean, whatever you choose to eat and consume, we all use some sort of resource to stay alive. We owe it to that resource to live in optimal health and vibrance. And really, we need to change this world, people. If you don't take away anything but that from this call, I will have felt like I did a good service to you. That we need to change this world, and it's up to us to live in full alignment.
It's a wake-up call. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if you're not living in the most vibrant state of health that you possibly can, you are, not showing gratitude to all of these beings, the universe, God, whatever you want to say, for putting you here. You are so fortunate to be here and be in a state where you're able to consume these resources to live, that you better be kind of in your most vibrant state, really. I mean,
buck up. Mary Oliver has this beautiful quote that goes like this. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And so I just wanted to share with you some fun story of my teacher, Vijay, and he lives in the LA area, and so he has lots of clients. And one story he told us, and of course he couldn't tell us who, but he did say that a Hollywood star ended up coming to him, saying, I'm nominated for, and he couldn't say if it was an Oscar, an Emmy, or whatever. It was one of the major awards that he was nominated for, this actor. And basically he came to Vijay and said, I really don't want to get any plastic surgery. I don't want to do Botox. I don't want to do any of these things that a lot of other Hollywood stars do before the big awards show.
Wow, I want to know who this is, because that's the person that I want to start following and telling everyone I have a crush on or whatever. Because I'm like,
right?
Really? Someone in Hollywood who didn't want to get plastic surgery? That in itself is a miracle, but I'm sure they're out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's becoming more prominent. But basically, he said, tell me whatever, your protocol is, and I'm going to follow it. And so Vijay, he has a very specific diet that he prescribes, and a very specific, when you're getting back into balance, there's very specific protocols that he gives you. Mm-hmm. And, part of it was this facial technique using these specific energy points, and called the facelift Marma treatment. And so part of it was that, but a lot of it was diet, and there was a whole regimen that he was following. And so he followed this, and I don't remember specifically, I think it was a few months before his award, and ended up going to the award show, and people were stopping him and saying, "Who's your plastic surgeon? I have to know. You look amazing." And he was kind of like, like, "I'm not telling you."
Wow.
That's just one amazing, result. And I've had clients that, have been on anxiety medication. They've, had insomnia for years. They've started introducing simple, little techniques into their life with some body therapies, and really all of a sudden are sleeping through the night, are feeling more rested, are digesting their food better, have their appetite come back after being gone for weeks. I've actually had the past 2 clients that I've worked with, both of them said, "I'm just not hungry. I could go through the entire day and not feel hungry." And all of a sudden at 7 p.m. say, I didn't eat all day. What happened? And then started working with me and incorporating some of these Ayurvedic techniques. And I had the one guy come to me the other day and say, I had like 4 snacks in the afternoon. I couldn't stop eating. And I just said, "Yay! That's so awesome. Wow. Your digestifier is back. You want to eat to maintain your health, right?" So that was a beautiful thing to hear from both of those folks.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it all comes back to the same thing. It's like whatever you need to do to restore your own vibrance, or get, an optimal, appearance for your Emmy Award or whatever. It really is all about living your dream life, living your Dharma, like we were saying earlier, and having a system that you can go to for support to really help you start living your dreams.
Absolutely. I mean, I basically, some of you may know me from before. About 2 years ago, I moved to Sedona from Wisconsin. And when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, that's a huge move," and I feel that. I feel that was a huge shift in not only cost of living, not only distance from, where I lived for 30 years before I moved here, and from some family, and just physically moving all that stuff, physical belongings, and my children, and my, cats, and my bunnies, and all of these things. I basically could do that because I had found Ayurveda. I was able to have the energy to clear my entire life so I could move to Sedona, live in this amazingly beautiful place where people are, seeking healing and spiritual connections. The sun shines almost every day. I feel vibrant. I feel inspired to follow my dreams and by the people around me. I want to invite you to imagine your dream of perfect balance in your life right now. Write some things down. What would you have to change so that could happen? Do you even know? And you don't have to know specifically. If you would have asked me, 3 years ago, are you going to be living in Sedona? This picture on the left side of the screen here is my cat, Caleb, who's 14, and sleeping in the sun in front of my patio window overlooking Mitten Ridge and Wilson Mountain. If you would have asked me, is this going to be your view in 3 years? I would have laughed. I would have been like, no, that looks, really like an expensive place to live, and I can't afford that, and wow, that's, that would have seemed totally out of reach. So you don't have to know specifics. You just have to know the essence. Like, I want to wake up and, feel so inspired I want to go jogging in the morning. I mean, whatever that is. Like, you don't have to know how you're going to get there or what's going to fall into place, but just give yourself the opportunity to just play with that energy and see what you come up with. And here we have this question: can you do this by yourself? Can you figure out what your most balanced life looks like by yourself?
So I think
Absolutely.
that was, thank you so much. That was such I have a really much better understanding now of the role of Ayurveda, and the word that's really in my head now after going through the first section of our training together is, Ayurveda is really all about optimal balance and listening internally and health and rejuvenation from the inside out. It's a lifestyle is really what we're talking about here. So this first section's been amazing. I feel like I've really gotten just a huge amount of background and context for what we're going to be studying. So now we get to the meat really of our class today, where we're going to be talking about some step-by-step practical Ayurveda techniques from Radha's practical Ayurveda system, Radha and Aaron, her husband's practical Ayurveda system. But she's actually going to jump in and give us some techniques that we can start implementing right now, today, whatever our dosha is, which we may not know right now because we might not have looked into it with a practitioner. But what can we do right now from where we're at to start, just beginning those baby steps that Radha is talking about, those baby steps to just begin our journey. I mean, there's a lot that we can do right here. So that's what we're going to talk about next in the second part of this training.
Yes, very and cool. I just want to share this fun picture with you that we found because we were talking about how stress is, this is pretty common knowledge these days, but, we'll bring it back to the surface here. Newsflash. Over 75% of diseases in modern America today are caused by stress.
Wow.
Or are stress related. So, it's a huge, we live in a very stressful world. I mean, we have so many responsibilities. We have so much information and media coming at us. You don't need me to tell you where your stress is coming from because I'm sure you know. And I loved this one because lately there's been this going around that stressed equals desserts. It's stressed as desserts backwards, basically. So here we are in the bathtub, like with all of our sweets to help us balance the stress in our lives. But no, that's really not what I'm going to tell you to do. Really, I wanted to give you this because over on my blog, on my website, so www.samadhiayurveda.com/resources. We have I wrote a 10-page paper on Ayurveda for stress and anxiety. So if you're interested in reading more scientific explanation of why Ayurveda helps stress and anxiety, I encourage you to go over to my website and check that out. Have a read of my paper there that I wrote. And
sweet. Thank you. That's
yeah, you're welcome. I enjoy sharing that with you.
Awesome. So, I mean, what would you say as an Ayurvedic practitioner? I could come to you right now and say, oh my gosh, my world is so overwhelming. My stress levels are, sky high. And this is why I need to eat desserts because, dang it, it's a coping mechanism. As an Ayurvedic practitioner, where do you want me to go with that? I mean,
well, first of all, I would tell you that that's nature's way of bringing balance into your body by craving sweets, because sweet taste is actually a manifestation of the earth element. And when you're stressed, you're experiencing a lot of fire and air and ether in your being. So you have a lot of mobility, you have a lot of intensity, you have a lot of worry. That's all manifestations of the elements of air and ether and fire. And so the sweet taste comes in when you want to balance. So Ayurveda has this opposites, balance, like increases philosophy. And so when you're stressed and you're experiencing all of these sort of intense light, hot manifestations of these elements, you crave earth. You crave sweet. You want that grounding. You want to feel like you're on the earth and that you're heavy and not light and stressed out and fiery. So it's perfectly natural to crave those sweets. Of course, we don't want to sit in a bathtub and fill up with, 100 donuts, but, or, there are healthy ways of bringing that sweet taste into your body and onto your body, which is, I would recommend you having oil massage yourself daily. That's one thing I would say, number one. I would give you a few recommendations and say, what seems easiest to you? What of these things? I might give you a recipe for warmed milk, which also is there on my website if you're interested in reading a warm milk recipe that's really, really nurturing and grounding. It's filled with spices and to help you digest the dairy. And so there would be a few things I would recommend. And then I would say, what is easiest for you? Because I want you to start with what's easy.
What I love about everything you just said, just to bring it back to assimilating, the right word just came out of my mouth, assimilating. What you're really talking about here is assimilating the stress in our life rather than just pushing it away. Like, if so many people, if I said, well, I just have so much stress in my life, they're just going to say, well, do less. And my response to that is sometimes pretty exacerbated because I'm like,
absolutely,
dude, if I do less, some of my stress is caused by my livelihood, my work, which is how I put food on the table for my kids. I can't exactly do less of that. So it even though, yes, it would be lovely if I could just spend my entire life in a hammock on a beach. Thank you very much. That doesn't really help me because that's not reality. That's not what's going to happen. The stress in my life isn't going away. But what you're really talking about here is not how to make the stress go away. It's how to assimilate it better, how to ground it better, how to move through it in a healthy way.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's exactly right, Laura. We're not talking about, going to a secluded desert island and not having stress, because we all need to function highly in our society these days. We have to keep moving. And our soul's purpose wants us to keep moving. Our dharma. Yes. We have to keep moving. But the beautiful thing about these techniques from Ayurveda is that they help increase your capacity to digest and assimilate the stress so that you can continue on maintaining the same level but feeling better. So you're not taking away the stress. We're not saying quit your job and just move to a deserted island. We're saying continue working your job, but incorporate these little techniques that will help you so that it doesn't feel so stressful.
Right. Quite frankly, if I really am honest with myself, I think if I spent 3 months on a desert island just having spa treatments every day and nothing else going on in my life, I'd probably end up getting really bored.
Well, and your soul would start screaming at you because that's not what your intent. Unless that's your soul's purpose. That could be your soul's purpose, but if it probably isn't, and your soul will tell you, and that is a lot of reason why sometimes we can be doing something for a length of time and we become unhappy in that same routine. That's your soul telling you, hey dude, this is not the right path, and I'm going to tell you by giving you this feeling of unhappiness so that you can look at your life, open that heart up so you can hear those whispers of wisdom that are coming forth.
Sweet. So warmed milk, oil rubs, getting in touch with nature, all of these chill out techniques, which are easy to, sort of incorporate into your life and starting where it's easiest. That's awesome. What's cilantro doing on this bullet point? What's so special about cilantro?
Cilantro for those of you who are familiar, you know it's a little green leafy herb that you can find a lot in Mexican cooking and also Indian cooking as well. Cilantro is the leaf, and next to that, coriander is the seed. And coriander you'll often find dried in a seed or a powder. And basically what I'm gonna ask you and invite you to do is incorporate cilantro and coriander into your diet every day. You don't have to use both every day. One or the other is great. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to give yourself a opportunity to detox every time you eat the cilantro and coriander. So we talked a little bit. Yeah, it's great. It's a really simple way to detox every day. So you can say, you know, basically I eat a cleansing diet if you're eating coriander and cilantro every day. And what happens is the coriander and cilantro, they go into the body and they actually bind to the toxins and pull them out. So much so that if you had dental work with mercury fillings in your teeth, and I know quite a few people who have been poisoned by the mercury in their mercury fillings and chosen to have them taken out, and which can be a little dangerous only because that
I've heard mixed things about that. I've heard people saying, "Oh my God, you need all the mercury." Fortunately for me, I don't have any, but you know, my husband did, and you need this taken out. And then other people saying, "That's really dangerous." And I'm like,
it can be really dangerous. You certainly have to have someone who's competent in that process. But if you really were to amp up the cilantro and coriander in your diet every day surrounding that time of having that mercury taken out of your mouth, it's so powerful that it will bind to the mercury and pull it out of your body. Wow. It's like this seemingly, you know, what would you say, really gentle and just inert, like this herb that's just there, right? Inert. Yeah. We don't think much about it because it's at the store. You can pretty much find it anywhere. And it must not be that special because it's not rare. Well, it's actually
doesn't cost $30 a bottle,
right? No, it's like $1.99 a bunch or whatever. So just, you know, doing that every day is going to help you in this detox process. And of course, you're not going to feel like all of a sudden, like you've just detoxed your entire body. But over time, you're going to notice a difference in your skin. You're going to notice a difference in your joints. If you had any joint pain, that's often a sign of toxins in the body. You're going to notice a difference in your energy levels, and you're going to notice that you feel better. Yeah, so you can incorporate it in all the areas that are familiar to you, and then you can also explore. We have this beautiful internet access now, and you can type in, cilantro chutney. That's basically a mix of different things together in a little sauce that's sort of from Indian cooking and from Ayurveda. And you can just type that in, or cilantro recipes, or joyfulbelly.com.
That's a good one to write down, guys.
Yeah, joyfulbelly.com is a really awesome Ayurvedic resource for lots of different recipes. And you can just type in an ingredient and they'll give you about a bajillion recipes. And I'm not kidding, a lot of recipes with that specific ingredient. So that's a really nice resource as well for that. And then, of course, coriander powder. You can just add that in anywhere you're having spices, with your sauteed vegetables, with your soups, with your stews, with your casseroles, with basically anywhere that you would be cooking other spices, you can add coriander in.
Nice. Very cool. So that's just an amazing resource right there. And this doesn't matter what dosha you are, cilantro and coriander is a good idea. So I'm really happy that we got something for everyone in here. And everything on this page is something that everyone can use and pick up and look at right now. The warmed milk, just before we go on, can you give me a little bit more information about why warmed milk is such a good idea? And what do you do, for instance, I'm sure you have this come up a lot because you recommend, protocols to so many people. There are so many people in our world right now that have an allergy or an intolerance to dairy. So not only like why warmed milk with spices is good, but what to do if you can't tolerate milk right now.
Sure, sure. So I do get this question a lot. Either you're vegan or you don't like milk. And I remember when, before I had started studying Ayurveda, I went to see a Tibetan doctor, and Tibetan medicine is very, very similar to Ayurveda. There's a lot of the same principles.
Sure.
And the first thing he said to me was, "You need to drink milk." And I looked at him like, "I don't drink milk. My memories of drinking milk from a kid is like this glass of like cold milk that was heavy and blah, and it, made me mucusy, and so I had all these visions of like, ew, I'm not drinking milk, are you crazy?
Yeah.
So,
well, same here. I suffered from asthma as a kid, and when I was about 17, I realized I was actually a big milk fiend. Like, I'm British. I had a ton of dairy in my diet, and milk and cheese, I could just like live on cheese. Pretty much cheese and wheat, I would be happy on that desert island. Those would be my food in my no stress world, would be cheese and wheat. And, but I realized when I was about 17 that if I cut the dairy out of my diet, my asthma didn't play up as much. It was mucus producing, which was sort of a new term to me at 17. So I cut it out. And I'm only now starting to realize that there are actually very health promoting ways that I could use dairy and milk specifically that wouldn't produce that effect. But
well, yeah, I mean, for sure, the milk that we were given and that I'm thinking of most people associate with drinking a glass of milk is really far from what nature intended you to have when it said, I'm giving you cow and milk. It basically, the stuff that's in the stores, most of it is so far from milk that I wouldn't even recommend. I mean, even the organic, now you have it enhanced with this vitamin and that vitamin and flavored strawberry and chocolate and all of this stuff. It's really so far from milk. I mean, I when I recommend milk to people, first of all, I say if you can get raw, organic cow's milk or goat's milk from a neighbor, you rock on. I lived in a town in Wisconsin, best milk on the planet. I'm telling you, these cows were like, I don't know, doing the happy dance up there on the hillsides or something, because that milk was amazingly delicious. And I had it delivered to my door in glass jars every week.
Wow.
Just like, can't get any more exquisite than that for a milk choice. But so if you're going to the store, you don't have access to raw organic milk from your neighbor with the super happy cows, go to the store and get milk that's not homogenized. So you don't want the homogenized milk. The homogenization of the milk actually breaks the molecules up so much that it's basically not milk anymore. The molecules are so busted up that your body doesn't recognize it as something that's healthy for you.
Wow.
And so pasteurized is okay. Raw is best. Pasteurized is better than homogenization. I don't even recommend it at all. So basically, the milk that we all kind of think of when we think of drinking milk probably was homogenized skim milk or 1% or 2% milk. And, there's a whole nother story about how they make it 1% and 2%. Basically, they're spinning it at high speeds, and the molecule of testosterone and estrogen separate in the milk. That comes from the cow, it separates in the milk, and so basically what you're left with is this testosterone-filled milk when you're getting like skim 1% and 2%.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's not how nature intended you to drink it. It's really separate from nature's gift. And so that's why cows give whole milk, right? It's because you're supposed to drink.
They don't give 2%.
Yeah, they don't give 2% milk. So, and this is just kind of another tip in general when you're thinking about food, and food that you could be eating that's good for you. Often, I would say, there's probably an exception, but most of the time, the food that's closest to how nature produced it is the best for you. And so that's what you always want to look at. Like, well, how is this most natural? Did, this soy burger pop out of the soy plant? Is that, no, it didn't. It was processed, which is taking away intelligence. So anytime you're looking at food, that's a good way to look at it. So basically, going back to the milk, that was a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I wanted to make sure you had that information on milk.
That makes so much sense. And I guess, and I've had this experience a little bit with some people, not all. I mean, some people really genuinely have a dairy intolerance that needs to be taken very seriously. But I've also seen a few times where people say, oh, I have a dairy intolerance. And then they switch off, saying, thinking of dairy as pasteurized, homogenized, skim, weird-ass excuses for milk into, like, whole, complete, unpasteurized, organic, good stuff, real milk, and they can actually tolerate that.
Yeah, it's true. It can be because that what they were actually drinking wasn't even milk, right?
Yeah.
And of course, there's going to be some people who can't have dairy, and in that case, I recommend the best is almond milk. Mm-hmm. And if you can make your own almond milk, that's even better. It's really not that challenging, and I'm sure you can find. I'll get a recipe for that up onto my website under the same web address on resources today for you so that you can access that. But basically, almond milk made by yourself is going to be the best. You can purchase it as well. It's just not going to have as much life force energy as the stuff you actually prepare for yourself. But if buying it is easier to start with, by all means, please start there. And then
That's
what we're going to do is we're going to warm that up. We're going to make it basically when it's given to you from the cow, it's warm, right? So we're going to warm it up, and we're going to add some spices to it, which make it a lot easier to digest in the stomach. And because the spices are in this milk, cow or almond, they're going to get carried deeper into the tissues of the body. And because these spices each have their own healing properties, they're going to be carried deeper into the tissues to have their optimum healing benefits there. So, and again, the milk is so nurturing and grounding. And, if you add a little bit of nutmeg in your milk, if you have trouble sleeping, that you're just going to pass right out after you have that warm milk with nutmeg. I mean, nutmeg has a little bit of a sedative effect on the body, and you're just going to be out like a little baby for the night. So, wow. Daily rhythm, we're really going to align ourselves with nature. So we watch as the sun rises and sets about the same time each day, shifting with the seasons. We watch the plants as they grow in the spring, they blossom in the summer, they lose their leaves in the fall. If they're not losing their leaves, they get a specific different color of their needles or their leaves anyway. But nature really has a rhythm to it. And we are nature. We are part of nature. And so aligning ourselves with this rhythm and intelligence that nature is offering us gives us the ability to be fully blossomed, to be fully manifested in our alignment with our soul's purpose, right? Because that's why we're here. So really there's ever finer tuning that you can do on establishing your daily rhythm in alignment with nature. But really what you want to do is you want to rise with the sun. You want to start your day in a way where you're bringing some balance into your body. So whatever that may mean, that's going to be a little bit different for everyone based on where they're at. But basically, you're going to get up and you're going to have a little routine that you do in the morning. We probably already have a routine in the morning, but really you want to bring in things that are balancing. So I have a lot of clients who say, okay, I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee, and then I get right on my laptop and I start working. And I work till, 4 p.m. or whatever. And I look at them and I say, okay, well, but what did you do to balance yourself before you started working? I don't have time for that. I have to get to work. And then I want to ask, how productive are you? Whatever's easiest for you. You can also have a morning exercise routine. There's many different things, and it's going to be different for everyone. But basically, starting your day, and then sort of the same ending of your day, you're going to bring in something nurturing and calming in the evening to help you wind down so that you can sleep well. We're going to keep all of the electronic devices out of the bedroom. We're going to make sure our bedroom is nice and calming for the evening for our balanced sleep. And then we really want to eat the biggest meal at lunch. And that's if you were going to pick one thing to do, that I would say that would be the most beneficial to start with. And because
the biggest meal at lunch.
Eat your largest meal or your heaviest foods at lunch, because your digestive capacity is a lot higher at lunch than it is at 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m.
Nice. Okay, so we implement these first steps. We get some cilantro in the fridge. We get a warmed milk habit or two going on. We get some semblance of a rhythm going on. And then there were some other resources you gave us on that page too of stuff we could do right here and right now. No matter what our dosha is. But what happens next? Like if we wanted to take this a little further, we've got a slide going on here where you're going to teach us kind of the map through the forest of Ayurveda, because it's this extensive 5,000 year deep science. I mean, you could study Ayurveda for the rest of your life. So starting from eating cilantro, where do you go next? So that's
Absolutely.
sort of the step-by-step process.
So this practical Ayurveda step-by-step process was really this guidance. So we're, going to help you find your dosha. We're going to find your prakriti, which is your natural balance point, which is the moment of conception is our prakriti. So that's our absolute balanced point that we have in our being. And we're always coming back to that point. That is our goal, is our prakriti. That is our true essence. So we're going to find that. We're going to figure out what that point is for you. And then we're going to look at where you are today. We're going to look at your vikriti. We're going to say, do you have symptoms right now? Do you have things you want to work at? Maybe making your life a little bit easier with, say, better sleep. That's a huge thing for people these days. We're going to look at that vikriti. We're going to look at that imbalance, and we're going to find out why it's there and how we can mitigate that so that we can come back to your prakriti.
So once you have a better understanding of your dosha, your prakriti, your vikriti, and you're going to work with your imbalance in some ways. You're going to work with your true dosha in other ways to, start coming into a better state of balance in your body and your health. Other than, just choosing a practitioner to work for, just doing some structural care for your body is, something that's also going to be very dependent on what kind of dosha you are, like what kind of therapies you choose. And we're not just talking about massage here. We're talking about yoga and all sorts of other stuff that you can do structurally, physically with your body that could very well be different for a pitta with a kapha imbalance than it is for a kapha with a vata imbalance, or a vata, in perfect balance, or
Absolutely.
Whatever. It's
that's so true. And,
right?
And, people can say, I love hot yoga. I'm going to hot yoga every day, and I'm looking at them and they're a pitta sign, a pitta dosha, which is fire, right? So what is hot? Hot is fire. And I shared with you a little earlier that like increases like and opposites decrease. That may be something you want to write down there. So like increases like and opposites decrease. And so what's going to happen if a Pitta person is all jazzed up on hot yoga every day? Well, you're increasing fire. You're going to get anger. You're going to get rashes. You're going to get heartburn. You're going to hopefully, not get to the point where you have like neuritis or, any inflammation of the joints. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen when you have Pitta fire building up in your body over a long period of time. You can burn out basically in many different health ways depending on how your body is built.
What I love about working with Radha is it isn't like, here, you're fixed, you had your magic pill, and you're healed for life now. That just isn't real. It's like, oh yeah, I feel so much better. Now what? Here's this new layer to unpack and uncover, and to really address holistically with a mentor or guide through your health, the reality that we live our lives every day and we have different things to get into balance with every day. You really need something that's sort of an ongoing resource, ongoing guidance, and what Radha is putting together here, and giving you a sample of here today is ways of working in an ongoing way with your stuff. And the cool thing about this is that you're not expected to be 100%, healed and ready for, ready for the runway next week because we're going to do this intense detox and then you're done. It's like, no, this is your life. So you get to begin wherever you're at. Everyone can do this. And I love this quote here from Radha's husband, Aaron. Actually, we haven't talked too much about Aaron, but we were talking about this a little with him, and he really backed this up. Do you want to read what he said here, Radha? And
absolutely. So Aaron is my business partner. He works with me on this business, Samadhi Ayurveda. I really consider him one of my gurus. He definitely is a channel of the divine knowledge and of this lineage of Ayurveda that we study. And basically, he said, even if you only ever apply 15% of everything you'll learn in practical Ayurveda, your life will change. And I completely agree with this because when I first started Ayurveda, when I started going to school and reading about, we had this whole weekend on daily rhythm, right? And I'm going, oh my gosh, I need 4 hours in the morning before I go anywhere and get my work done before I can do it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And no, I picked, 4 things off that list that I slowly incorporate into my life every single day. And I'm telling you, I get out of bed this morning, every morning now, refreshed. I mean, there maybe occasionally if I'm not feeling well or I'm processing something in a deep way, I feel lethargic in the morning, but I'm not that baby slumped on that shelf like that picture I showed you earlier anymore. I have slowly incorporated these things into my life, and I'm telling you, little things over a long period of time make a huge difference.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, thank you so much. So, I mean, that was a really great section 2 of our class here today. Just those step-by-step techniques that we can implement from practical Ayurveda right now to get us started. Get the warmed milk recipe going on, get some daily rhythm recommendations from samadhiayurveda.com/resources for free. They're up there for you, along with that full report on stress and anxiety and ways to heal that and handle that. And then once you've done that map through the forest that we showed you guys of how to find your dosha, and that would be like the next step, and your prakriti and your vrikriti, those are the next steps, and then working with a practitioner to incorporate, a right lifestyle for you, slowly but surely. So there's a lot in there that all of us can start working on right away, no matter what our dosha, to really start coming into a better, healthier state of balance today. So thank you so much. That was an awesome
Thank you,
training.
Laura, for having me today. It's been such a pleasure to share this with you.
Well, the cool thing is we get to talk a little bit now about how to go even deeper with this work. The section 3 of our training here is titled "The Most Effective Ways to attain vibrant states of mental health, radiant skin, lowest stress, and peak energy. So there's more. Like, you get these steps down, and after that, there's more. There's so many more places that we can go with this. Because we can be studying Ayurveda for life. So I hear that you have an invitation for us today, Radha, and I'm really excited to start talking about what you've got going on here and what you've put together, because it's really pretty cutting edge for Ayurveda to be offering. I don't think anyone else is quite doing what you're doing in the world today, but it is so needed. So tell us all about what you've got going.
I'm super duper excited about this. I've been practicing and seeing clients for some time now, and I really just felt this gap. I felt this, like, I would sit down and we would have this amazing conversation. We would find some really cool ways that they could bring balance into their life, and then they went home and I never saw them again. Or they would come back maybe in 6 months or a year, and we had lost touch, and it took a long time to recap and figure out where they were at and what happened during that time. And so it came to me in a meditation to bring this course to you, this practical Ayurveda course that's going to help you, support you, because what a gift it was for me to be in Ayurvedic school where I was surrounded by classmates, teachers, mentors, role models that were actually able to hold my hand and be like, hey, your assignment for the month is to, eat khichdi once a week, which is like basically Ayurvedic chicken noodle soup. It's like a very healing soup to have. And I was like, oh no, a new recipe, I don't want to, but I had people calling me on it and being like, hey, how was that? Like, oh my gosh, I burned my turmeric. Like, I put the turmeric in the pan just like you said, and all of a sudden I had this smoke and I was coughing and I had to open the window and, there's billowing smoke coming out my window, and oh my God, that happened to me too. I had this beautiful support network surrounding me during my Ayurvedic journey, and I want to offer that to you. So I am thrilled to be launching this exclusive opportunity to you today. We're starting January 15th, 2012, with a Practical Ayurveda, which is this online program that I've created. So you can do this anywhere, from anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. This program that's available. And it's available today for the first 100 people that sign up, because I really want to make sure that Erin and I can both offer you personal attention, but we have a large enough community where we can learn from each other, where we can all laugh at each other's experiences and support each other in the process.
Sweet. So this is basically, we're keeping it to 100 people for you guys, so that this really becomes like, it's basically your peers at your school for incorporating Ayurveda into your life. And that's kind of what it's going to feel like, because there's only going to be 100 people in here.
Absolutely. So it's going to be really an exclusive experience. The first 100 people that join us will be experiencing for 2 hours every month an immersive and transformative conversation with the world's foremost leaders, teachers, healers of the Ayurvedic lineage. So I'm going to bring you my teachers, and I'm going to interview them on a phone call for 2 hours every month, and you get to listen in. You can submit questions before the call. I'm going to send you their bio and what they teach and what their specialties are. I have a dear friend, Isha McCaskey, who's in Northern California, studied with Mark Halpern at the Ayurvedic School, California College of Ayurveda. She's now going to be representing Floricopia essential oils in California. She's going to meet with us, and she's going to talk about her specialties. She's also an acro yoga teacher, one of the spunkiest, sprightliest women I know on the planet. She's a beautiful person. I'm sure that's going to be really exciting and fun. We're going to talk with my other teacher from my original Ayurvedic program, Pat Layton, who has, I don't even know, I want to say 30 years of experience teaching Ayurveda, master's degree, graduated the first course through the California College of Ayurveda, and now runs an Ayurvedic school in Chicago called Bhava, Bhavana Ayurveda, and so she offers courses through her institute up there and also consultations. Wow. She is just a whippersnapper of her own. She has awesome stories. She can tell you stories all day long. And so we're going to sit and we're going to interview these people, and we're going to get their stories that are deep and humorous, and we're going to uplift your soul, expand your mind, and then really just systematically address all of your most pressing health concerns.
With like the world's most expert Ayurvedic practitioners. Like,
absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I can't even imagine, you know, if I were to try to get in touch and get taught by the people that you've got lined up to come into this series. I would be going all over the world and spending thousands and thousands of dollars to get in the presence of these teachers. These are like the most amazing teachers in the world today for Ayurveda.
Absolutely.
And you're basically making them available to all of us just right from our home computers. I mean, that's unheard of for the caliber of people that you're putting together here. This is crazy.
It's super exciting. And I mean, literally a lot of these teachers aren't out in the forefront. They're not out there saying, come learn from me. They're not out there offering classes. So you're getting information that hardly anyone else has access to. So it's going to be like sitting down with these master teachers, having a cup of tea once a month for 2 hours, and you're going to love it. You can share it with your family and friends. You can help bring everyone in alignment with their soul's purpose through these phone calls. I'm super excited about that.
Oh my gosh, that's totally amazing right there. So yeah, that's just rocking my world right there. You know, just the chance to sit down, like you said, for 2 hours a month with the Ayurvedic masters, a different one every month. And these are going to be things that if people want, they can either stream from their computer to listen to, but they'll also be available in MP3 download. So you'll be able to pop these on your iPod and take them with you wherever you go. So it's just
absolutely.
Really
if you have a commute, you can listen to them on your commute or wherever seems convenient for you to be able to access this information.
Absolutely. So there's going to be 12 of these, one every month. And I mean, every single one of these, you know, if you actually had the good fortune to be in the right place to sit down and have a 2+ hour immersive conversation with each one of these teachers, just once, you'd be paying, you know, at least $35 to $60 per 2 hour talk if you were to actually show up at a lecture hall or a little tea house somewhere in, you know, the local vicinity that these guys are for a talk like this. You'd be paying $35 to $60 for each single one of these. And we're giving you 12 of them in this series that we're calling the Conversations on Ayurveda series. 12 of them via webcast. And they're not 47 each, right? They're 47 for all 12 of them.
Yes, I know. I just really want to get this information out to you. So
this is like the best Christmas present ever. No, I'm sorry. I'm just super excited.
Yeah, give that as a Christmas present. What a cool, conscious way of offering wellness to and inspiration to someone's life.
Totally. I mean, that's incredible. That's like a $700 or $800 value right there for $47. And it's something you get to use all year, and it's not like you get to use these once. You know, you can replay them on your iPod. It's like having this library that you just bought that's going to have a new episode mailed to you every month. $47 for the entire year. What is that? That's less than $4 an issue, basically. $4 an interview instead of 20. Wow, I'm just doing the math here and flipping out. But that's not everything you've put together for us. So let's go on to what's included in package number 2 here. Because in package number 2, you get all of those 12 interviews with the master Ayurvedic practitioners. You get all of that. But then you've got this other thing listed here called the 49 Ayurvedic Satsang series. And I want to hear more about this.
Yeah, so the second package, this is exciting. So we're adding in the conversations with the world's foremost leaders and teachers in Ayurveda, and we're giving you 49 Ayurvedic satsang series. So this is going to be 49. Why 49? So 49, it's on a lunar calendar. So it's going to be coinciding with the moons, the new moons and full moons. We're going to go really in alignment with nature there with this series. And so this will be delivered in the same format. We're going to have a webcast, and you'll be able to submit questions beforehand. And basically, if you've never heard the word satsang before, basically what this is, it's a gathering of community members who are interested in higher states of health and wellness. And we sit with the master, and Erin and I will sit and we will answer questions for you. We will take your questions beforehand. If you can't be present live on the call, you can send in your question and I will answer it on the call. So we're all going to get together and we're going to support each other and learn from each other's journeys. And we're going to talk about things like, oh dear, my turmeric burned, and oh dear, all of my sheets smell like rancid oil now. Like, how do I get that out? And just
or
whatever
I have a breakout
comes up
on my
for
skin.
you.
Where's the mean person again? Yeah.
To do. We're going to offer you some mantras.
And I mean, the cool thing that I really love about, all of this support that you're getting here is, submitting questions beforehand to get answered on the series. But you can also, the way Radha and Erin are going to structure this satsang series is, you guys, if you can make it live, you get to call in, so you can actually have a conversation with them live. And the other thing that the software they're running these live events through is going to enable you to do is you're going to be able to have a live chat room that you can type chat into during the satsang of the lunar, whatever lunar deal you're in. So you're going to get to type chat, you're going to get to submit questions beforehand, you're going to get to be on a phone line with them, actually physically talking to them as well, and all of that is included in the satsang series. So, and you can just simply sit and listen as well if you just want the broadcast out, but there are so many ways to interact with this, right?
Absolutely. And this really means that you're engaging in your own healing process. You're taking an active role in your health and well-being. So you're really committing to yourself, and we're not going to there's not going to be any shame or guilt or any you shoulds or anything like that on these calls. It's going to be supporting you. So you're going to, you can come to me and say, Radha, I, fell off the boat and all I ate last month was Cheetos and apple pie, and I'm going to laugh and I'm going to, offer you some amazing nugget of wisdom that'll be channeled through me, and we're going to just support you, because it's not about what you should do. It's not about guilt. It's not about anything like that. It's about being here for you, and it's about being here for each other and supporting each other in this process. And we're all equal, we're all one, and we're all here to raise each other up.
Sweet. Awesome. And again, if they can't make these live, I mean, that's going to be the level of engagement and the liveliness of this satsang series that you're going to get on the lunar calendar. So new moons and full moons throughout the year, 49 of them. And if you can't make them live, you're going to get these in recording, and you'll be able to, again, stream them from your computer or download them, one of the two. So then, at this, package 2, you've got 49 satsangs, Q&A sessions with Radha and Erin to keep you moving towards Ayurvedic vibrance and health throughout the year. And you get the 12 conversations on Ayurveda with the Ayurvedic masters. You get everything included in package 1 with package 2. 49 this is kind of like a doctor on call session every, almost every week, 49 times a year on the lunar calendar. That's got to be, those could easily be worth $50 a session, especially if you make them live. But, here in package 2, Radha has just put together this crazy offer for you. And You get all of that for $97. That's including the $47 package is all included in the 97. So for another $50 total, not just for one $50 consult here, but for 49 consults. You you get all of that for just $50 more, which is insanity, if you ask me. I mean, as far as value goes, it's absolute insane value, you know. But she hasn't stopped there, because what I'm seeing come up here in package 3 is really special. I think this is the bit that I'm the most excited about, because Radha is such an amazing person to have a private consultation with. And if you remember when we were doing the whole map through the forest and what to do next, even something as simple, seemingly simple, as finding your dosha is really best done in private consult with a master Ayurvedic practitioner like Radha and her husband Aaron, who is very special. And in this third package, you guys are offering everything in package 1 and 2, plus a 90-minute private consult with both of you together. Like 2 Ayurvedic practitioners working one-on-one with you for 90 minutes. Right?
Yes. So I really feel like, as much as I feel like all of the community work is so essential, I also want you to have this private, personalized attention, so that you can take all the information that you're getting throughout this year. It's going to be just ground-rocking and groundbreaking for you in your wellness path. I want you to make it really personalized to you. I want to give you all the attention you need, and so we can address your challenges, your personal circumstances, any symptoms that you're going through today, or that come up for you. I would like for us to be able to address those personally. So we're offering that 90-minute Practical Ayurveda consultation along in this third package here. And this can be done via Skype or telephone from anywhere on the planet. So it doesn't matter where you are. Aaron and I will sit down, we will schedule a time, and we will sit for 90 minutes, and we will bring out some beautiful ways for you to personally find balance in your life.
Wow. I mean, just with one of you, this has to be a $150 value right there, just to sit down with one Ayurvedic practitioner. But to have 2 minds working in consort together, that's a $300 value right there, at least, just with the private 90-minute consultation. And then to get the 49 plus 12, 52 other 2-hour-long community webinar events throughout the year on top of this is just, that's an impossibly valuable package, really. I can see why you're only doing 100 people here, especially with the consultation on the large package, because really to give people this much one-on-one personalized attention, to really custom tailor a practical Ayurveda approach just for them, as one person, I can't see that you could really do more than 100. I mean, this
absolutely.
Is
I want to make sure that I'm giving everyone really personalized attention, and that we're basically offering, and we've designed this course for you to enjoy it, for you to genuinely enjoy it, for it to be a highlight of your week instead of a chore. You'll be, feeling more and more aligned with your true, authentic, blissful being. And this is why I'm here. This is my soul's purpose. This is my dharma, to bring you into your highest place. And so if you would please allow me to share my gifts with you, I would be so thrilled and honored.
I think these are going to go pretty fast. I mean, I know that this webinar that we're watching right now got mailed to about 30,000 people this week, and we're pretty much only taking 100. So I would really strongly, highly recommend, if you want to take Radha and Aaron up on this offer of the private consult and the 52 couple of hour long sessions that you get to spend with them over the course of the year, or you can gift this to someone else, go ahead and jump on it. Go ahead and click to, go through and get this now, because these 100 sessions are going to be snapped up really quickly with the amount of people we have watching this call this week. And this, again, is just an initial offer they're launching on January 15th. All of the courses, the conversations, and the satsang series are launching on January 15th. So this is an offer. We don't have this available to anyone else but you guys right now. If you're not watching this webinar, you don't have the link to even come reserve this, and this will be taken down in a week's time. Like I guess we're putting this out to the public this Tuesday, the 6th of December. So then, on midnight after the 13th of December, this is going to be taken down because it's an initial offer. After we've got those 100 people in there, we're done. And obviously, we just want to keep it that exclusive. And we want to tailor it so that people are really starting this, in the new year. And we kind of know where everyone's starting from. So, for this initial offer here of Practical Ayurveda, this is something that really is only available this week. After midnight on the 13th, you will see this page disappear. And after we hit 100 people, you will see this page disappear. So, knowing that 30,000 people just got, access to this webinar right now, I would highly encourage people to snap this offer up while they can, while it's still available. It really is just an amazing offer, if I do say so myself. But we kind of put together an over-the-top bonus just because it's Christmas here.
Yes,
and
yay! We're feeling very generous and grateful.
Yes, it's the month of generosity. So there's more with all of these packages. I think people should be seeing this on their screen now. In addition to everything that's already included in these packages, people get the access also to the Ayurvedic lifestyle course in its entirety.
Yes.
Tell us about this, because this is something you're also launching in January, and we're going to be selling this separately. Come January. To have this rolled in is absolutely amazing. But tell us about what the Ayurvedic lifestyle course is and why access to this is it's just blowing my mind that you're putting that in here too.
I know, I'm getting goosebumps. So basically, it's super indispensable to have the community, right? So we have inspiration from teachers and leaders and role models and the conversations. We've got a community building satsang. Let's ask questions. Let's figure out what the heck's going on here in our health together. We're doing that 49 times. And then we're also personally addressing your challenges in your life situation in the personal private consultation. But there's another missing piece, and this is what the Ayurvedic lifestyle course is going to fill in for you, is it's going to be your resources. Where in the heck do I find recipes for cilantro? Where do I get this beautiful vata oil that you're talking about? How do I make ghee? How do I make this khichdi, this Ayurvedic chicken noodle soup? How do I incorporate this now that summer is here and I'm a pitta and I'm feeling angry and rashy? Like, what do I do now? So for 12 months, starting in January, every month you're going to have access to new modules for that month. So the month of January, you're going to have access to videos on how to make ghee. You're going to have access to videos on how to make khichdi. You're going to have access to
videos. So like, instead of just like me reading a recipe, and if I don't know quite what the heck process they're talking about is on paper, you will literally be showing us via video how to do this.
Absolutely. There's going to be videos for all different recipes. There's going to be seasonal changes being incorporated. We're going to tell you about all the different medicinal properties of these spices and how to toast them and when to have them raw and why it's important. And you're basically going to get the how-to and the resources to actually implement Ayurveda into your life on a seasonal basis.
Amazing. Wow. So this is like, because you are, depending on what constitution you are and what month it is, you're going to have different things that you want to be doing.
Correct.
In January than you are in February, and March is going to be different from February, and it's going to be different if you're a Kapha, so and all of that is just in the Ayurvedic lifestyle course, which is then up there. It's a 12-month thing, but it's there as a resource, in an ongoing fashion. It's there anytime you want it, rather
Absolutely.
than... Wow. Cool.
Yes.
So package 1 buyers get a 3-month membership to Ayurvedic lifestyle course, which is January, February, March, I guess. And then if you snap up package 2 today, you get a 6-month membership to Ayurvedic lifestyle course thrown in. And if you go for package 3, you get the full 12 months, which will then just be accessible to them in perpetuity at that point, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It'll be, anytime you're thinking, oh no, I forgot about, how to make ghee. I haven't made it in a while, or how to make yogurt, or anything, you can go back and access those resources. They are available to you once you have that membership, forever.
Wow. That's impressive, right there. So that's just it. If the consults with both Radha and Aaron, and the conversations on Ayurveda, and the 49 satsang series wasn't value enough, the Ayurvedic lifestyle course, as far as I'm concerned, just kind of puts this as an over-the-top value. This package, 147 certainly, but the 97 and 47 as well in a certain way. This pretty much takes care of all of your holistic health resource, guidance, support for the entire year. It's just incredible. So that we're offering this in December is really no mistake. There are only 100 of them, so go and get yours as soon as possible. There are about 30,000 people who have been notified and given this webinar, so these 100 are going to be snapped up very quickly this week, so I would highly recommend you getting yours as soon as possible. But the other cool thing that I just want to mention to people here is, if this looks like an amazing package and you're also stumped for a holiday gift for someone right now, it's December, we're kind of racking our brains for something wonderful to gift folks, as well as to take care of ourselves. I mean, I would do this just to take care of myself, quite frankly. But, if you're looking for the ideal Christmas or holiday gift for someone, know that you do have an option when you're purchasing these packages to get all of this as a gift certificate that then you can put, in the tree for someone and have them redeem with us. So that's also something that you get given as an option. You can either use this yourself or you can gift it. And, because this will be in your hands as soon as you purchase it, we'll give you a gift certificate that you can download, and then you can print out on your end. You have this taken care of. Then this might just take care of some holiday shopping for people. So if you're incentivized to get some or all of these packages for friends and family, go right ahead, and we'll get a really pretty gift certificate to you that you can gift them with all of the details they need to redeem it. But frankly, I would use it for myself in a heartbeat. It's just that good of a deal. So Radha, thank you so much for devoting, what's probably ended up being a couple of hours here, I would imagine, to working with us today. I'm just really jazzed that you took the time out. It's been an incredible class and training. I think people have gotten so much out of this already. I'm sure I have. That it's just been a fantastic couple of hours that we spent together. So thank you so much for joining us today and doing this class with us.
Thank you so much, Laura, for hosting me. It's been a pleasure, and I'm super excited to work with all of you to find your soul's purpose and get you in alignment with that so that you can help change this world. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So go ahead and grab any packages that you want as soon as possible, guys, and have a wonderful, warm, blessing-full December, and thanks so much for joining us.
Namaste.
Namaste.